The Super Bowl is set. Seattle versus the Patriots. We're going to have a potentially low-scoring Super Bowl. Maybe not. You never know, but Seattle's defense is unreal. They seem to allow the Rams to score points, but Seattle likely to keep it a low-scoring Super Bowl. Exciting game. Exciting set of games, you could say. Would not have expected New England versus the Seattle Seahawks at the beginning of the year. I don't think anybody could, but that was a crazy ending. That end, I thought they needed to review it. They did look at it, and it was Puka Nacua's shin was down, so he was inbounds. It was close, but he was inbounds, so the clock ran. That's a shame that Puka couldn't get to the sideline to give it one more heave. That would have been even more exciting. But Super Bowl is set. Seahawks, Patriots. We're breaking it down. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Well. Puka Nacua, what a game JSN had. Let's break down the box scores here for a second and go over both games. Let's start off with the one we just saw. What an unbelievable ending to that game. The first game was very, I would say the best word to describe it would be boring, I suppose, because it was not only bad weather, but it was just not the kind of offensive game we wanted. Talking about, 100 yards passing for each quarterback practically. It just wasn't, it was all ground. It was all Drake May just running the football, which, ended up working and sealing the deal. But the weather got out of control. The weather at the beginning of the game looked like Hawaii. The weather by the end of the game of the first New England Patriot Bronco game looked like it was in Alaska. But let's break down this game right here, this Rams-Seahawks exciting battle where it really came down to the final seconds there. Puka Nacua, if he just would have stayed in bounds, by the way, Puka Nacua, 9 catches, 165 and a touchdown. JSN, 10 catches, 153 and a touchdown. These two gentlemen absolutely balled out. Kenneth Walker was phenomenal in this game. Dare I say Kenneth Walker had 4 for 49, by the way. Had a better game than even this tells you. 19 carries, 62 yards, only 3.3 a carry. That doesn't necessarily tell a story. He looked elusive, just fantastic. And they're bringing him back if they can. And he probably wants to come back. Charbonnet, season-ending injury, won't be ready for week 1. Kenneth Walker should rise and become a potential lead dog candidate for this team as their running back 1 in 2026. Lone wolf running back 1 in 2026 as they try and retain him. Walker is a free agent. Blake Corum, 9 for 55. Kyron very involved in this game. Not as much on the ground as he helped you in fantasy through the air. 2 for 22 and a touch through the air. And Kyron, 10 for 39, 3.9 a carry. Blake Corum, 55 yards. Kyron's a confusing pick for 2026. Still very exciting, still very capable. Signed a new extension, so they will want to use him. But it's definitely a player that we're a little more apprehensive of as we get through the years and he puts the mileage on and they start having more of a split in terms of the even right here 9 and 10. Stafford 374 and 3, 0 INTs. Sam Darnold 346 and 3, 0 TDs. This was and even Adams touchdown. 89 and 4 catches. Parkinson, 3 for 62. Parkinson could be a problem next year. I really like Parkinson a lot. This is a fantastic game. Came down to essentially one play, you could say, because if Stafford would have heaved that into the end zone, it would have been over, game over. This is our Super Bowl right here. Drake May versus the Seattle Seahawks defense is what it is. JSN, though, on top of it. I will say if I had to predict a winner right now, and I'm not trying to play fantasy. I'm not trying I'm trying to be completely unbiased. I don't think the Patriots will be able to do what they've done kind of throughout the entirety of this playoffs. And really, whenever they have faced tough defenses, it's figure it out on the fly. Drake May is still learning. It's not his fault. He doesn't even have the proper weapons. And nor do I think he's getting coached as well as everybody insinuates because they keep advancing. I think Drake May's carrying Vrabel a little more than Vrabel's coaching as well as everybody says. Obviously, it's not all on Vrabel. but I do believe Vrabel not using his weapon, Henderson, his absolute nuclear weapon in Henderson, not using him at all proves that he's not making all of the right decisions at the right time, and he's not allowing this team to be in the best position to win until the end of the game. Kind of similar to how Bo Nix felt. Fourth quarter Bo, how did it look when it all came down? Do we have a JSN video? I think we do have a Kenneth Walker video. We haven't pressed the Kenneth Walker video. Can we press that real quickly? Kenneth Walker deserves our undivided attention for a minute. Let's hit that Kenneth Walker video. Where is it? Here it is. Here it is.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber swinging Skywalker.
What a monster Walker is. I'm excited about Walker 2026. I really am. But back to what I'm saying. If I'm making a prediction right now as to what happens, I think the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl. I think their defense is too good. Their offense can hang with anybody. You just saw that evidence of that. And while Darnold isn't an elite quarterback, he's efficient. And this has always been the case. He had probably one of his best games of his career. Can lead the league in turnovers, but can also have good games. And when you don't ask him to drop back 36 times, and the defense can step up, then you're going to have less of those games where he does do badly. There's too many weapons here. Walker's running too well. JSN's playing too good. Darnold's good enough no matter what, and he can play really good. He can play excellent at times if the scheme and the defense and the flow of the game is cooking. I just don't think that the New England Patriots play 4 quarters of amazing football. And because I believe Drake May carries this team on his back and it takes him a little while to wiggle his way through the game, I don't think that's going to do it. I don't think that's going to be enough. So I'm going to go ahead and say Seattle wins this game. Super Bowl. Let's put up the bracket. I gotta advance everything. Let's move it forward. Okay, so we got New England moving on to the Super Bowl. Let's move this over. Copy this. Boom. Paste a copy of that here. New England versus the Seattle Seahawks. Man, what a crazy prediction this would have been at the beginning of the year. Seattle. I mean, I did not anticipate Seattle to be in the Super Bowl. It's such a well-playing team, though. I just believe that New England can beat most any team, as they've proven, as they work their way through the bracket. They have been pretty lucky through this bracket, though. You're talking about playing all over the place, injured, havoc going on offensively, defensively. Just they don't have their crap together, Chargers. And then they go over to Houston, where you're playing C.J. Stroud. Then you go over to Denver without Bo Nix and it's Stidham. And you barely kind of pull that off. You pull it off, but you barely pull it off. You're walking in with a lot of momentum, no doubt about it, a lot of upside. Definitely one of the best teams in the National Football League. Definitely one of, if not the best quarterback up and coming in the National Football League. Josh Allen and Drake May, tear break. That's the way I view these two quarterbacks. Drake May is unbelievable, carrying this team every step of the way. But as much as people want to keep saying, Vrabel is so good, I'm not saying Vrabel isn't good. But Vrabel is not using his number one weapon. Vrabel is not using his number one weapon. They drafted him in the second round. They just continue to sit on it. And it doesn't matter if you win. You could have won by a landslide if you just feed this guy. Every time they've given Hendy starter carries, Hendy's delivered. And so I'm just still blown back. If they lost this game, I would have come in here completely unhinged. Kind of hard to do that when the Patriots win the game. I get that. I'm not a moron. But had they lost this game, I would have come in completely unhinged, because it's maddening to me to watch this guy not be used. It's maddening to me. And my example holds true. I don't care what anybody says. It's like winning poker hands without really knowing how to play poker, and you still have good enough hands. You can piece together a hand. You know a little bit about the game, but you're missing straights that you might have. And you're literally playing, you're getting two of a kind. You're beating everybody at the table still because they're not getting as good of hands. You're delivering better product on the table. but you don't even know that you've got a straight. You don't know that you got a royal flush going on. And let's say you were responsible for calling out your hand. You know those people that play poker, they're like, hey, can someone tell me if I won? Can someone tell me if I won? That's Vrabel. Like I understand he's doing good. I understand he's a good coach. I would love to have him in Arizona. I would. Because I don't know who's going to be in Arizona. Arizona hasn't had good coaches in a long time. But I just think he's getting so much credit when I'm watching him completely misuse his weaponry. And it's over and over and over. How do you not know that your team is probably 2 or 3 times more dangerous, more potent, more capable by just feeding this man they drafted in the 2nd round? And thank goodness Stevenson hasn't fumbled the ball away or fumbled the game away. You're giving the most likely player in the league who's held onto the ball recently continuous carries and action when it matters most, when you were leaning on Henderson. Nothing makes me more frustrated when a player gets banged up. Henderson got the concussion, and then he just loses every bit of stepping stones and momentum he had of taking over the backfield. It's just a reverting back to just mundane, very, very bland offensive production on the ground, when you could literally be handing the ball off to a weapon that could take it house call any moment. He's called house call Hendy for a reason. So I don't care that they won. It doesn't make it any better that he's misusing half of what he's doing. You can still have a good enough team to carry you. Look at Sirianni. Does Sirianni deserve the Super Bowl win and accolades? No, his team's carrying him. I'm not saying Vrabel's getting carried totally, but I am telling you that Drake May's figuring it out for Vrabel. Some good play calls. That was an excellent play call at the end. I know Vrabel's not calling that play. He might have had a hand in it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, and signed off on it. Very good play call. Drake May to the left, scrambles for a first down, wins the game. That was great. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand why you're not at least using both of them on the field at the same time. You're telling me this guy's not a better receiver than pretty much everyone in that wide receiver room? There's no excuse. You want to use Ramondre in the backfield? Fine, put them both on the field. Get creative. If you can't let go of Ramondre, if you can't quit Ramondre, put this man on the field. It doesn't matter. No one is even saying what has to happen to Ramondre. Put this man on the field. Put them on the field at the same time. Run 2 running back sets. Do what you got to do to get this man in the flat and throw the damn ball to him. He's a weapon. All right, on to the game. Let's, as far as this Rams and Seahawks game, it was exciting. The first game was not. The first game was very weather dependent, obviously. Whether there's going to be excitement, and certainly the weather got worse and worse as the game went on. Devontae Adams was fantastic. He'll be confusing walking in the next season because he is a step older, and he kind of vanished on us at the end of the year. Even though he'd scored touchdowns, he wasn't as reliable in the yardage department. You just wonder what's going to happen with Stafford. There's a lot of question marks around that situation, but I still think Adams is a pretty decent pick in the later rounds, depending on where he falls. We may do a draft. I'm not sure. The big board's opened up today. The little board's opened up today. That means 2026 best ball drafting is underway. ADPs are collecting as we speak. We'll have good ADP data updates tomorrow. We kind of have a good reference of ADP right now, too. And I'll tell you, Burrow is going around 7. Jalen Hurts is going around 7. Some interesting ADPs for sure. Hendy, Harvey, and they're going at the 4-5 turn, which is fantastic. McBride's going at 9, 10, 11. So we got a lot to discuss in terms of ADPs. ADPs are going to be where it's at for a couple weeks here on the channel. We'll be talking about ADPs, what to take advantage of, all kinds of ADP shows, what looks like good ADP, what looks like bad ADP, what ADP trends do we see. Ramondre, 25 carries, 71 yards, 2.8 a carry. Even Trevion Henderson, 3 carries, 5 yards, 1 point. There's not much on the ground. But you're not going to get any pop plays unless you get your best weapon the ball. during these conditions. Drake May, 10 for 65 on the ground, 1 touchdown. Mac Hollins, 51 and 2 touchdowns. He was in his element, though. It's unfair to compare other wide receivers to a guy that doesn't wear shoes no matter where he goes. So he was living inside his element. Hunter Henry, 2 for 12. There just wasn't. The weather took away the game in the second half, but there was opportunity for these teams to have production. But as you can see on this side, even Harvey, it was just, this weather was so bad. You were slipping and falling everywhere. There's no way to even get a break. Even if someone fell down, the running back would fall down. 13 carries, 37 yards, 2.8 pop. Stidham was awful. He looked good in the first drive. Everyone like, oh my God, this guy's going to actually be pretty good. 133, 1 INT, 1 TD. Marvin Mims, 62 yards. RJ Harvey doing his usual 4 catches. A lot of times the yardage is low, but he'll get 4 or 5 receptions, 25 to 30 yards. He's always doing work. Sutton, touchdown, 3 catches, 17 yards. This will be a weird wide receiver room to judge if they don't make changes in 2026. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Jared Stidham, again, trash game. They had no shot, really. At the onset of this thing, it felt like there was some Denver momentum, and then it was all Patriots. Then it was just like Patriots just needed to close it. Patriots needed to close it. And the weather, to a degree, the weather just was impossible. Like all the kicks were getting missed. It was just a disastrous game. This is going to be an exciting affair. Seahawks, Patriots, could be low scoring. It's going to be a lot of good defense, amazing. You could say really good defense and the best defense. So it's going to be a defensive, battle. I wouldn't be surprised if it was higher scoring than the Denver Bronco Patriots game. I don't think it's going to be 10 to 7, but maybe it's not a 40 something to 30 something game. I mean, anything's possible. But is probably looking like something along the lines of one team is in the teens, maybe one of the teams breaks into the 20s, it's hard to say. I mean, anything can happen. Turnovers, it could be defensive scoring that creates this higher scoring game than we anticipate. Maybe some early first half scores, and then the offenses have to take over. Who knows? But I do predict that a Seattle Seahawks victory ends up going down. I like the Patriots. I obviously, I love Hendy. I love Drake May. I think Hunter Henry's obviously still a really good fantasy football asset if you're drafting in any sort of playoff fantasy football. Diggs is hard to rely on, but it's not a bad option. Obviously, when you're down to 2 teams, let's say you're picking resetting or something like that in your rankings. But I think JSN is the number 1 overall player to draft in this matchup. May's going to be probably pretty damn good on the ground, and I imagine he has a touchdown. I don't think I'd count on 2 or 3. If there was a 1.5 higher or lower, I'd probably grab the lower on that. I think he will score at least 1 score. Man, it's going to be pretty interesting. What else was I going to say about this game? JSN, I mean, the 2 receivers in this, let's go back to this box score real quick. The 2 receivers in this game went absolutely ballistic. And you got to ask yourself, are these the number 1 and number 2 overall players in a draft right now? The ADP doesn't suggest that. I've done like 10 to 15 underdog big board, little boards already to get a feel for the ADPs, because there's no real ADP. There's a suggested rank that's a guide right now. It will get updated probably tonight at midnight, I imagine. And when it gets updated at midnight tonight, then we'll have a real good idea of where the ADP's headed. But again, people will be massaging that ADP that was granted to everybody at the onset of the drafting. So it takes a little while to push players up and down. But I did about 10 or 11 drafts to get a feel for where some of the guys were going to get reached on, because their ADP was not suggesting them in the right spots. I got to tell you, I was shocked at what you could pull off. And I was also shocked at how thin it gets in the 4th or the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. The 5th through 7th rounds feel very light. It doesn't feel like last year. I find that the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rounds feel pretty good. I think you can get a really solid trio going that didn't feel as strong as last year, especially in hindsight. But you start getting the 4, 5, 6 territory, it starts getting really, really, really thin. And we're going to really have to rely on some sleepers, but we'll potentially get into a draft. If anybody wants to draft with us tonight, hit that promo code. Here's the link to play Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Well, link's in the description. Let me grab said link right now real quickly and paste it on screen. But we will be jumping into a draft on Underdog. Play 5, win 75, get 75. And then again, half they'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. So if you want to draft with us tonight, let me drop that link right now, and we'll probably get into a draft, I imagine, tonight, because it's just this ADP is the most important part of the offseason. It's getting revealed to us as we speak. Let me drop that link. There it is. I'll pin that link in the live chat. If anybody wants to draft tonight, please hit that link. Sign up on Underdog. Again, they'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000 if you use that link or code Smitty. The link inserts code Smitty for you. JSN or Puka? That's the question, bro. I'm rotating it. There's no real answer. Puka needs Stafford. Puka needs McVay. Is Stafford likely to stay in LAR next year? Probably, but it's not a lock. It's not. It probably will. But you're making an assumption because he's essentially year to year. He doesn't come back on his current contract. That's already been made abundantly clear. When he signed his extension, it's a 2-year deal. The 2 years was to make the math make sense, but it's a 1-year deal, essentially. That comes from McVay's mouth. It comes from Stafford's mouth. Doesn't matter if it's a 2-year deal. He's not playing on that. He will retire before he plays on it. He wants big money. They need to pay him the big bucks or he's not coming back. And there's a chance he walks away because of his back. I think he played so well that you think he'd give it another go. This left a bad taste in his mouth. I think if they won, it'd be a more likely scenario that Stafford could surprisingly step away. But I think he probably runs it back one more time. But there is a risk factor there. There's no way Puka is exactly the same value. He drops a significant amount inside of round 1, stays in round 1, of course. But Puka drops significantly from the 1 or 2 or 3 consideration to like the CeeDee Lamb territory if for any reason he doesn't have Stafford or McVay or both. JSN, his situation isn't going to change. They're about to potentially, at least they're in the mix to win it all. Like they're one of 2 teams left standing. This situation is very, very good, and they're probably only going to improve things and make it better. Now Seattle becomes an even more attractive place to play. Free agency is going to lure in even more talent. If they lose someone, then they'll just replace him far easier than they would have had they not had this successful season. And they also have Jalen Milroe backing up Sam Darnold. So if anything should go awry with Sam Darnold, Jalen Milroe is a fantastic prospect. So JSN feels extra protected, whereas Puka, you don't even know for sure at this moment what's going on with Stafford. Now, Stafford might hit X in a minute or do a press conference and announce he's coming back. But my guess is because the negotiation of the contract needs to take place, they're not going to just come out and say, he's back 100%, expect it, it's guaranteed. It might be some ambiguous stuff being slung out there because they do need to re-sign him on a new deal. But this is a great question, man. Strong. I'm dividing it up. If I've got the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 picks, I'm rotating between Gibbs, Bijan, JSN, and Puka Nacua right now. And I'm not really right now. I'm not fluctuating from those 4 guys. I still love. So it's Gibbs, Bijan, Puka, JSN. I still love Jamar Chase, but I'm starting to realize that you can get him in the 3 to 7 range, 3 to 6 range. And so whenever I'm getting a 1 or 2 or 3 pick, I'm not wasting that on Chase yet. I might want some Chase shares built from the top of the draft because you're going to get different corresponding players in the 2nd and 3rd round. But for right now, I'm taking advantage of that 1, 2, and 3 pick to get those 4 players in a rotation because I think those are the big dogs up top. Racing Boy, appreciate you with the super chat. Bet the Seahawks don't pass it on the 1-yard line this time around. Yeah. Oh, you mean Marshawn Lynch? Yeah. Back in the day. Remember that? Man. By the way, I'm wearing the new Power Plant shirt, which is available if you go to thefantasyfootballshow.com/merch, which link should be in the description if you want to try and grab your Power Plant shirt. Actually, I don't know if that link, I'll post a link in a minute. Secret weapon in the Super Bowl. Secret weapon in the Super Bowl. Are you asking me who the secret weapon in the Super Bowl is, or are you trying to give us the answer? Coach, I don't know what you're saying there. There's no question there. I'm not sure. If you want me to give you the secret weapon in the Super Bowl, I don't think there's anybody that pops into mind that I don't think. I mean, Hunter Henry, if you wanted like some sort of sleeper, I guess. I don't know. But I think this is gonna be an exciting Super Bowl, but it won't be as exciting, I think, as it could have been from a scoring perspective, a fantasy perspective, had it been New England versus like the Rams. I think if it's New England versus the Rams, we probably have like a score 30 something to 30 something. I think that Seattle versus the Patriots, two very good defenses, one being the best in the league, we might be disappointed in. We might feel a little bit more, not as bad, a little bit more like it's the earlier game in the snow, the way that scoring went versus the later game. But maybe we get something that's beautifully in between. It's still close, even though it's lower scoring. It's back and forth. There's some excitement. I don't know. But man, this was a great face-off between Puka, Nacua, and JSN. And the fact that they got nearly identical stats was phenomenal. Like, that's just so fitting to sit here and look at 10 and 9. 153, 165, one touchdown. I mean, just 14 targets for Puka, 12 targets for JSN. These are the guys, man. And honestly, I can't envision something that locked them into the 1 and 2 and 3 overall. At least they're in the top 3. Than this situation. Like, had they not performed like this, maybe you had some people throwing Chase in there. You know, but you might see Puka and JSN in Best Ball Mania and in Big Board climb to the 1, 2, and 3. Right now, JSN I've been getting at 4 in the drafting today. I don't know if that'll happen now. That's how fickle people are. Like, he was going on average about 4 or 5. JSN, he was falling. And I think it's because people were scared that JSN didn't exactly finish exactly the way he was playing all year, right? So kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths that JSN dropped off a little bit more than they'd wanted. And so JSN's ADP was floating around 5 overall, 4 or 5 overall. I think this game, people are so fickle and reactionary, this is going to shove them to 1, 2. People are going to remember this and they're going to change their mind. So expect JSN. I'm glad I took I had JSN in 4 of those 10 drafts I did, 10, 11 drafts I did earlier. And maybe you can't get him anywhere but 1 or 2 now. JSN probably locked into 1 or 2. But from a dynasty perspective, I don't know that I'm going that route. I'm still very much Bijan, Gibbs. JSN's in the mix for sure. But I think I'm drafting probably one of those RBs. But man, JSN looks fantastic. He looks so good. And where did you hear about JSN this year? Where did you hear about JSN?
Let him cook.
Top 2 to 5 wide receiver. We said it in January. Put it on the board that used to be above me. We will go over probably tomorrow or Tuesday the bold prediction board, so hang tight on that. I have a picture of it. We'll have to go over the bold prediction board and dig through that. Did anybody say Seattle was going to win it all on the bold prediction board? I don't think they did. All right. Open up the phone lines. Dial.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Tell me what you think. Who's going to win? Again, it should be a close game. I'm predicting Seattle to win. Not necessarily happy about it. I'm rooting for both teams. It's nice to not have any skin in the game, really. I've got no preconceived notions. I got no money on the line in terms of which of one of these teams win. I got no ties to it at all. So I'm merely just saying that when you've got defense, when you've got offense, when you got the number 1 wide receiver maybe in the National Football League, you got a top 10 running attack right now under Kenneth Walker. Might be better than top 10 might be disrespectful right now the way Walker's playing. You've got offensive line, defensive line. You have a quarterback that's competent enough for sure. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. I mean, one of the league leading turnover quarterbacks in the league. So there's potential, but I just think the Seattle defense is going to make it tough for a team like New England, who's had kind of an easy road to a degree. I don't necessarily share the same viewpoints everybody else has, where they think they don't deserve to be there, or that they're going to put an asterisk next to their name if they win the Super Bowl. If they beat Seattle, they've done all the earning that they need. There's no asterisk next to this win if the New England Patriots win. But going up against the Chargers, going up against the Texans, going up against, who had a good defense, but CJ Stroud going up against Stidham, they have been very lucky in that they're allowed to go through some of the growing pains that naturally Drake May is going to go through. There's nothing wrong with it. The guy doesn't have the weapons that Sam Darnold has. And so I think that you're probably just going to see him have what he's been having, which is needing time as he's trying to carry the team on his back. I mean, the defense has been stepping up very nicely lately, as of late for sure, but he's had to carry the team on his back, and it seems like the play calling's trash for parts of the game, big parts of the game, and it comes around. No one's saying there aren't good play calls, especially at the end of games when Drake May is given a little more latitude to take things into his own hands, or they design something around, screw it, let's let Drake May run like they did at the end of this game. Like, that's good play calling, but that's because he puts the team on his back. I just don't, in my mind, I don't anticipate the Patriots putting together 4 really good quarters consistently. In Seattle, all they have to do is just do what they've been doing on defense, hold them to a certain amount, and if Darnold or Walker or the defense can just score, let's say 21 points, that's kind of a way that I'm envisioning this. Whoever scores 21 points first probably wins the game. But could New England's D step up? Certainly could. Could a return for a touchdown on the? I mean, look at the Niner game. How that return for a score flipped the script entirely. Like, could New England pick 6 on Darnold, who could turn into a pumpkin at any moment? And all of a sudden, the New England Patriots are up 7-0. And then Darnold's seeing ghosts and they're trying to get in the game. And yeah, it's certainly possible. That's probably the script that needs to be in play for the Patriots to win. But it's certainly a possibility. You know, it just comes down to defense, really. But Seattle's defense is so amazing. It's hard to imagine this. Just because there's so many weapons on the offensive side mixed with the D. Seattle's the toughest team in the league. It took me a while to get there, to accept it. I'll be honest. Like, even when I did the bracket, when I filled this out, it wasn't something that felt comfortable for me to put Seattle advancing to the conference championship. But as soon as they got here, I'm not playing games anymore, man. They're so tough. They're so tough. In New England, look, if New England wins this game, it'll be amazing. Again, beating this Seattle team leaves no asterisks. I can't stand when people say that they didn't earn it. But if they don't, they still accomplish so much, you know, and the future is so bright. And if they get weapons and use their weapons, then New England's going to be off the hook for the next 10 years. This team is better off than any team, maybe in the entire National Football League, given how well they're playing now without having a crazy amount of weapons, or even a respectable amount of weapons. You know, Diggs he's okay, but he's not an elite wide receiver on any level anymore. He can make elite plays. He can have an elite quarter, but it's not even consistent. If they hand this kid, I don't know, Evans is a free agent, or if they trade for AJ Brown, the sky's the limit. And if they use Hendy, they've got a tripod that no other team can even contend with. Drake May and Evans, or Drake May and AJ Brown using Hendy. It would be the most unbelievable tripod. This team would blow teams out of the water. That's what I want. Why I want Hendy on the field so bad, even if it's sharing carries. But they just don't see him as a viable weapon, yet they drafted him around 2, yet he proved on the field whenever he was given a shot, he's the most electric player in the National Football League. Travis, you're live. I don't know if the speaker needs to be turned on or if I can hear you yet.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Okay.
So, I mean, I think either team can win. But one thing I will say is the 3 games the Patriots played, they were against top 5 defenses, which Seattle is too. So you got to give that credit. But it was also 3 games that had snow going on, and the weather played an effect. And the weather's not going to affect anything in the Super Bowl in San Fran. So I think the Patriots' offense is going to be a lot different than we've seen. I mean, they were the second highest scoring offense all year, and I know they had an easy schedule. Everyone can say that, but their offense has been rough, even running the same plays at all.
And it's a fair point to consider that their schedule was easy. But look, the Niners' schedule was easy. You know, like the Patriots are the only team people complain about with that. They're still playing NFL teams. They still got to deliver. They're still lacking some of the weapons other teams have. There's a lot of things you could throw back in someone's face. So I don't even like when people say that, but it is fair to say, like, okay, they got kind of lucky in a sense that they could let Drake May make mistakes and still walk away with wins, where especially in this playoff bracket, you know, like this bracket, you couldn't have had a better setup for the Patriots than this bracket. I mean, to go to Houston, I mean, they're good defense.
Sure.
No, Stroud and Stidham, you know, and then the way injuries with the Chargers, like it was a walk in the park to this point. But it doesn't even matter, though. If they beat the Seattle Seahawks, who eliminated the entire NFC, then it doesn't matter. Like, no one can say anything because, like, you're going to run out of excuses. What are you going to say at that point? Oh, well, they only won one tough game. Yeah, but it was the toughest game in the Super Bowl with the biggest spotlight.
Well, I'll tell you what they'll say, because what will happen if they win is they'll get to Darnold, and I think they can get to Darnold, and that's when Darnold makes mistakes, is when he's uncomfortable. When you let him get in a rhythm, like you saw tonight, yeah, the Rams kept pressure on him and stuff, but they let him get into a rhythm, and it was pitch and catch at times for him. And so if they make it hard on him and he turns things over, they're going to say, oh, Darnold turned into a pumpkin. It was another bad quarterback that they beat. Well, so no matter what, they won't get credit.
I think the wise people won't really say much about that. Blitzen with 10 gifted memberships. Blitzen, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships, my guy. Appreciate you. Appreciate that very much. If you guys got a gifted membership from Blitzen, let them know.
I think that's something people are overlooking, is that Darnold is great when he can play pitch and catch and when he isn't getting a lot of pressure on him. But who has he faced that puts a lot of pressure on him?
Okay.
I mean,
honest question though.
San Fran.
Honest question though. Your existence is on the line. What team are you banking on winning the game?
Patriots.
Patriots, okay. And that's that. You don't think that's any sort of fandom? Okay.
No, because if you ask me honestly, I'd say it's like a 50-50 right now. And while the Seattle defense is great, I've said all year that they were better than Houston. They can be thrown on. And Drake May, if they can give the line trouble, then yeah, they might win. But if the line can hold up long enough for Drake May to make throws, they can throw on that defense. And you saw it tonight. They get chucked all over. And I get he doesn't have weapons like Puka and Adams, so that makes a difference. Like I'm trying to be as fair as I can here. But they just gave up 30 points. They 27 points, would have been 30 if McVay was smart.
The thing that I think stands in the way is that, and there's no knock on this. This is just a style of play, and honestly, without the weapons that other teams have, it's an understandable style of play. And it does show that this team has been coached well. I've never said Vrabel's a bad coach. I just said Vrabel could be way better, and he's completely messing up the rushing attack. But I think that what you could say here, though, is that this team is probably not going to put it all together at the beginning of the game unless there's a defensive situation. If there's a defensive dynamic here where the Patriots pick off Darnold from the beginning, hit him, blindside him, and it's a fumble, it's a recovery for a touchdown. Like something like that changes the course of the beginning of the game, which is certainly possible. It's not like a 1 out of 500 chance. It's probably a pretty decent shot that the Patriots D, if let's say you defer, you get out there at the beginning, or let's say they kick it to you and you return a kick to the end zone on the opening kickoff. Like that is also included in that. That to me will put this team in a great position. I just find it hard to imagine against Seattle that they're going to get into their rhythm quickly, given what we've seen out of New England lately, and given the weaponry that they have. It'll be a little harder for them, I think, to get in an early rhythm and stay in a rhythm from the beginning. I think, what I was trying to say was that this play is understandable. They play a lot like the Kansas City Chiefs did in 2024, where it's like, and Denver this year, where it's like you figure it out at the end. In some of these cases, Drake May puts it on his back, carries the team. They win at the end. Like I feel like I know there's been other games throughout the year where it's been an easy schedule, but I'm saying when pushes come to shove against a good defense, has been hard sledding, but they've toughed it out. They pushed through it. You're certainly capable of that in a close game. If you can get to the fourth quarter and it's tied, then yeah, I'll feel pretty good about it. But it's gonna be tough.
I think people are and they have the whole playoffs. They make excuses and stuff, but I think they're once again drastically underrating the Patriots defense. So.
Yeah, I agree. They got a much better defense than people are giving them credit. It'll be interesting. I'm gonna say 70% likely Seattle wins, but that's still a strong chance. I mean, tell me you play 10 games, you win 3 or 4 of them. I'd say 3 or 4 of them. The Patriots is going to be close. All you need is just a little, luck. I think either team, needs a little luck to get out to a lead.
Yeah. I'm in the minority, but I think Hendy gets a lot more touches this game. I'm not saying he's going to get 20, but I think he's getting 8 to 10 carries and get thrown to a couple times. I'll come back if I'm wrong too, but I just think these last 3 games, the weather has made such a difference in all 3 of the games that it's going to be a whole different.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. All I know is his ADP is in flux right now. He's going at the 4-5 turn, and understandably so. If he ends up getting the ball and ends up being a starter next year, which I can't even believe we're like talking like that. I can't even believe especially after what he did during this season when he was leaned on. I just can't even understand how we're even having this conversation given what he proved. Not what the talent is. I know I'm right. We were right. We are right. Hendy is one of the most dynamic running backs in the league. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if Travis says. I don't care what anybody says. There's no excuse for not making Henderson the focal point. Not that you can't have Stevenson involved. Not that you can't even have them both on the field, which is what I would do because you don't have this overwhelming wide receiver core. I mean, you just give it to both of them. But the problem is you don't get Hendy into a rhythm, and then you have these nitpickers that say, if you look at the efficiency, Hendy's not good between the tackles. Get out of here with your nonsense. It's a lazy take. You're embarrassing yourself. Henderson, when he's been given the starting job, has absolutely dominated the league. So when you have him come in and he's got 3 or 4 carries in the first half and you end up giving him 11 by the end of the game, and people go, you got 11 carries. They're trash carries. He's not getting the ball in opportunistic times. He's getting the ball in the 2 and 3 yard runs where they're just trying to prove that they're running so they can open up the pass. There's zero excuse. Zero excuse. It's asinine. It's ridiculous. It's holding the offense back, regardless if you win. Winning doesn't mean you can't win better. It's like when Algier is successful, somebody says, Algier did it though. Bijan would do it better. And there's ways to use both of them, and they don't. And so what I'm trying to say is if they did use Hendy from the jump, if Hendy was completely unlocked, I think you could hang with any team during 4 quarters. But If this team is going to literally try and do what they've been doing, I don't think it's going to work against this defense unless you get lucky with some sort of defensive turnover or whatever. I just can't stand that he's not.
Reason why they will keep doing what they're doing though. I mean, it's a completely different landscape.
That's an assumption that you could be right on, but it's an assumption as to why they're not using Hendy.
Well, the Hendy thing is different. That's a different conversation. I just mean in the way they've been calling plays, the way it's been so conservative, the way every run is up the gut. I don't even agree with all the calls. I think they've had some bad play calling, and it's been too conservative even before the snow hit in these games. But again, I just think the weather has played a factor. But I would.
No one's convincing me. No one's convincing me.
I get Hendy better touches and more touches.
No one's convincing me. I understand where people are coming from, but I completely 100% disagree. No one's gonna have even come close to convincing me. I think it's beyond ridiculous to draft Hendy in the second round, and at this point in time, you're not using him yet. There's no excuse for it, because if you're an elite player, is it excusable to have delayed Bijan being unlocked? Is it excusable to look? What's the rationale? Do you not trust him? Do you not like him? That's probably what it is. I don't know why. When you gave him the ball, he delivered. The man fumbled 0 times in college, fumbled 1 time in the NFL, which was kind of a wild situation. Even his coach said he didn't blame him for it. But this is a guy who doesn't drop the ball, period. And you're running the risk, and granted, Stevenson hasn't fumbled lately, but you're running the risk of losing this march into a Super Bowl appearance, and still could potentially run the risk of him fumbling during the Super Bowl, of one of the most likely to fumble players in the National Football League. None of it makes sense to me. Why did you draft him? He's proven why you drafted him, but why did you draft him? There's no, but Stevenson looks pretty good. It doesn't matter. This guy's proven. Like, you give him 15, 20 carries, you have 100 touchdowns and 150 yards. There's no excuse. Just like Bijan, there was no excuse for Arthur Smith to not use him at the goal line. And they kept saying, well, we're getting efficiency out of Cordero Patterson and Tyler Algier. Bijan was the 3rd running back in the pecking order for touchdowns his rookie year under Arthur Smith. And I had a bunch of people making excuses for it over and over and over. There's no excuse for when the player's already been unlocked, especially like Henderson's been unlocked, and not using him like a full-time running back, which leaves room for Stevenson, because if Hendy's successful, they can run even more. There'll be room for Stevenson to have 10 carries a game, which is what it ends up being at the end of the day anyway for Stevenson. It's like 10 to 12 to 14 carries. Sometimes you will have 10 carries a game to hand to Stevenson. He can still do the up-the-gut grunt work. Like, no one's saying you can't give him the ball. No one's saying he's a bum. But Hendy is literally you have one of the most weaponized players in the league, and you don't use him. It makes no sense whatsoever. I don't care what anybody says. And the evidence and proof is when Hendy got used and Stevenson was out, who was the best running back in the National Football League? You could argue it was Henderson. It's asinine. And it's so frustrating to watch them win, because then no one asks the questions. No one cares. No one thinks it's a big deal. They're like, oh, they won. It's like winning a race at 180 miles per hour when you could drive 220. And everybody thinks it's okay. Just use them both. Use them both. You can't quit Stevenson. Use them both. Throw to him. Put him in as a wide receiver half the time. A design play where you can throw to him in the flat. Makes no sense. All right. What else you got, Travis?
Not much else. Like I said, I think it's 50-50. And I know most people are going to pick the Seahawks, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with people continuing. You have a reasonable rationale. But I know most people are just going to keep making the excuses. So
there's no excuse.
I like being the underdog,
Hell yeah. It's always nice to be the underdog. I mean, Drake May, if you win, Drake May is going to put it on his back, though. Because Stevenson's not in there to do it, to help him. And I hope you're right. I hope you're right that they use him more, but they're still not going to use him enough. You know, it's going to be like, oh, they're going to use him like they've been using him the last handful of weeks, not just the last couple weeks. They'll use him where it's like 10, 12 carries each, and they're bad carries. Half of them are bad carries, and he doesn't get in a rhythm. You know, run him up the gut. Run Stevenson up the gut. No one's saying he can't continue to do all that work. Use Stevenson like Monty. Monty was very valuable during the Ben Johnson, Monty Gibbs days. Monty was very valuable. I think that's where people get confused on this topic. No one's saying you can't keep handing it off to Stevenson. He could be ultra valuable. In fact, Stevenson gets better, just like Monty was really good when Gibbs was blowing up. It's a cascading effect, a reciprocation. Like Stevenson plays better if Hendy's used in stretching the field. And then you put them both on the field at the same time once they're both efficient. And you got this, you got one of the most dynamic running back rooms and pass catching running back rooms in the National Football League. And you're just sitting there, sitting on your hands, and you're winning. That's the frustrating part for someone like me. Is I'm sitting there watching this game and I'm like, he's gonna skate it out. He's gonna scrape by, and Drake May's so good, he's gonna figure it out, and then no one's gonna ask the question. Henderson, how many carries did Henderson have? One or two carries? I got it right here.
Yeah,
inexcusable.
Three.
3 carries, 5 yards. Inexcusable.
Yeah.
How many receptions did he have? 0.
Well,
0.
That's where I'd be using him more. I'd be throwing him the ball. In like a game like today, I would have at least tried to throw him a couple quick checkdowns, or run him on a couple short routes and dump it off to him.
Not using.
Run an RPO with Drake May. Where Drake May can carry it, or he can dump it off to Hendy. Something
two things.
Like that, get creative.
Two things can be true at the same time for the people that are confused about this topic. Vrabel can be winning and be a good head coach, but you can also be incompetent in one aspect of your coaching. And Vrabel's incompetent with his inability to use the weapon that is Hendy. The fact that Hendy could be the best receiver on the team and Vrabel doesn't understand that is incompetence. It's incompetence. It doesn't mean that he doesn't over.
At McDaniels too,
well, that too. But you are the head coach. And at some point, you could step in and say, "Hey, bro, get Hendy in."
Right.
And I would do that.
Right.
You're talking to the foreman and you're the owner of the oil rig. You at some point, but it's incompetence. And look, Shanahan, one of the Coach of the Year candidates, still was incompetent. In many ways in the offseason. Every coach, Miami Mike McDaniel, now hopefully Malibu Mike, or maybe he'll be Mandalay. Mike McDaniel is incompetent in many ways. Like, it doesn't mean you can't win. It's just madness. Crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, looking forward to next year, to jump the gun a little, I also think it's going to be very different next year too. I think Henry will get 200 plus carries. So.
Bobby, he's averaging 2 yards per carry. You don't know what you're talking about, Bobby. You're running your mouth about. I've already addressed it. You can't look at garbage usage and then blame it on him. Look at the stretch when he's the starter, Bobby. When he's ripping off 50-yard runs every 15 times he touches it. Go look at that stretch, Bobby. Don't look at a stretch where someone hands him the ball 3 times, 7 times in really bad spots where literally he's getting tackled as soon as he gets the football in his hands because it's a play call where they're trying to get a couple feet. They're not even trying to get a first down. It's get a little wiggle room, and so we can be 3rd and 6. That's what Henny's getting. You're box score bobbing it, Bobby. Unbelievable. All right. What are we doing here? Let's do a draft. Let's see where these guys are falling in a 2026 Best Ball Mania draft. Let me pull this up real quickly and see if we can hook something up. Hold on a second. Where was that? I think it was right here. All right, let me pull up Underdog. So guys, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Hit this link right here. Hit that link. Play 5, get 75. The link is pinned in the live chat. The link's in the description of the video. And Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. And so I'm going to sign in here, and we're going to jump straight into an Underdog draft. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm telling you, this is unbelievable where some of these ADPs are, but it's also a little bit concerning when we get to this 4th, 5th, 6th round territory. Let's see here. Let me pull up a draft. Let me pull up a completed draft real quickly. Big board. Or let me pull up one I'm on the clock on real quickly. And just show you where this ADP and where the board's been going. All right, hold on. Let me see if this will show. Draft. All right. And let me just make this smaller. All right, so Bijan went 1. I took Nakua at 4. JSN went 5. See what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. I think that this is before the game. This is when the game was going on. And that's madness. I don't think that you can get that coming out of this game, though. I think this game changed that. So if anybody's expecting to get this exact ADP, I think it's going to move it. So Bijan went 1, Chase went 2, Gibbs went 3, Puka Nacua to me at 4, JSN 5. That's such a tough, debate right there. Like, who do you go with? Taylor 6, McCaffrey seems to be going 7, 8, 9. That seems to be almost locked in. I've done 10 to 11 drafts so far. McCaffrey was going 7, 8, 9. HN 8, fantastic value. Lamb, right where we said he'd probably be. 9's good value. St. Brown just cemented their year after year after year. Looks like London's no one's scared of London right there. James Cook's about right where we thought. McBride's as high as we expected. The 12, 13 turn. I've seen him go at 7 or 8 though, so he might climb higher than where we expected. Barkley, what in the hell is Barkley doing at 13? And I've seen that over and over. It's like the ADP's suggesting that could be part of the problem because there's a preset ADP. I don't know if they went off like the first couple drafts reset. I don't know how they're doing that, how they're getting the ADP data to kick it off. But then as soon as midnight happens, we'll have a refresh of what people have actually done, and then it'll be even more accurate. But it won't be completely set. People will nudge everything around a little bit. So Hampton going at 15 is understandable, and it's pretty good value. Neighbors at 16, love it. Absolutely love it. Bowers is 17, higher than I wanted, but I still love it. I'm hoping Bowers falls to like the 2-3 turn. I think he could, as some of these other players get moved up the board. Genty at 18, JJ 19, amazing value for JJ still. It packages and a lot of risk, but you don't want to oversaturate because if the situation doesn't change for the better. He doesn't even earn that, but that's still a really good bet. Love went at 20. I'm on the clock in this draft, so let me make a draft selection with you guys. You guys can tell me, Travis, you can tell me who you like here. So I'm going to pull up this draft on the clock here in this big board. Let me pull up the draft board here. Okay. George Pickens in order of the suggested ADP. George Pickens, Derrick Henry, Nico Collins, Chase Brown, Chris Olave. I'm surprised Chris Olave is going that high. I remember we talked about that once, and we wondered if he go in the 3rd or 4th. He's going in the 2-3 turn. Chase Brown, Chris Olave, Rice, Rashi Rice still going really high. Josh Allen, I think I could. Let's see, Josh Allen's 27. I think I could maybe.
Back.
He'll be right. That's right at ADP at 33.4. So I'll wait on that one. Do I go with Chase Brown? There's literally no running backs for like 14, 15 picks on the ADP other than Chase Brown and Derrick Henry. Jacobs should be the next one who I'm not touching with my first 3 picks. So I can assume that Chase Brown will be the best option I'm ever going to see for, in this draft. Like I won't even come close to having I think I'd probably go Chase Brown here.
I would.
Chase Brown? Okay, so Chase Brown, Puka, very good start, and I'll hopefully get Josh Allen on that swing back, and that'll be awesome. All right, let's get into a draft. Travis, I don't know if you want to do one with us, but I'm going to go into the lobby. We can do a little board. We can do a little board.
That's what I'm going to do. I got to put some money on the.
All right, you want to wait, or do you want to do it on the second or third one we do?
No, go ahead and do it. I'll do the next one.
Okay. Guys, go to the app Underdog promo code Smitty. The link is pinned in the live chat. The link's in the description of the video. Code Smitty gets it done manually. Play 5, get 75. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. If you think you're in need of any assistance in regards to all this stuff, please use those phone numbers down at the bottom. Let's pull up a draft here. Let's go to the little board. They're $3 a piece, $100,000 to first place. $3 a piece. There's a 20-second timer. Go ahead and hit the enter button now. And we'll jump into this one. And I don't know
5 more to start.
Yeah, 5 more to start. I don't know if we'll do multiple. Depends how fast this goes through. It should take 20 minutes, so we may do a second. 20-second timers make it easier to do 2 in one sitting. Okay, start shortly. Let me put this draft board up on screen. Travis, you're in the 3 spot. I'm in 11. Okay. Let me pull this down. I wonder if it will. Yeah, no, I don't need to show who's on the clock. I'll try and set that up for next time.
Man, the top like 5 or 6 picks have such an advantage this year.
I know. Well, let's see how I feel in the 3rd and 4th round because it did fall off. Maybe I'll feel really good about that when I get there. I don't know. But I agree with you. I feel like if I don't have the 1, 2, or 3 or 4, and I like the 4 a lot too. But if I don't have the 1, 2, 3, or 4, I'm really not loving the squad. Let me make this not angled. Hold on.
John Puka.
All right, so Bijan, Puka, Jamar Chase to Travis. Okay, explain that real quick, Travis.
I still have him as the number 1 receiver.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Him or JSN. I mean, I think it's splitting hairs, him, Puka, and JSN. So.
Bucky says, never have I ever seen someone admit they don't know ball. Who you talking about, Bucky? Oh, it's probably Bobby. Bobby, it's probably you. Probably running your mouth and trying to work people up in the live chat. McCaffrey, JT, man, this is a tough spot, man. St. Brown, he's so solid here. H-Han. I think I'll go H-Han here. It's a real tough spot. Yeah, I'm not in love with the later draft slots. Let me move this down slightly.
I tend to agree with what you've talked about, where first round, this might be the year if you can to grab one of those top receivers, because running back does seem fairly deep.
Yeah.
Things always change though too. I mean, it's hard to know so early.
All right, I'm going to go Achane and McBride. McBride, I don't love taking early, but at the same time, it feels like I've said, it's always going to be better to do this early while your sleepers are still around. Once your sleepers all get raptured up into the earlier rounds, you'll feel like you have nothing available in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th round. So when you go early tight end later on in the season, in the off season, you'll feel screwed. But you go early tight end now, you have a huge strategic advantage and still get, some sleepers that are hanging around. Is your super chat going through? Oh, I'm sorry, Strong. Just remind me like that if I ever missed it. Let me go over to Rumble real quick and just see if I have anybody sitting over on Rumble that's dropped a super chat. I got 9-7 trees over there. I got Aldi over on Rumble. I don't know if Landman's over there. Guys, appreciate you very much. Strong says Lions news about Petzing is trending to the positive side now. It's been a minute, heavy run, great. I mean, yeah, I've told you about Petzing's going to be better than people are telling you. Tight end usage, great. Hiring Ben Johnson's friend is awesome. Look, Petzing is I don't even think we can put Petzing in a box and say, oh, he's going to only use, like Laporta or something. Like, it's not. We don't even know what he can do. He just hasn't had weapons. You give him McBride, you give him Michael Wilson Jr. He made it work. So what will he do with St. Brown? I'm sure he'll make it work. I think too many people trying to find somebody by what they did when they had these weapons. Like, if I had certain weapons, I'm going to use them. Why? I'm not going to turn somebody that, like, give McBride. Maybe he doesn't turn Laporta into a monster. Maybe St. Brown is used as his, McBride in a sense. It doesn't mean he has to just design plays for a tight end. Like, Petzing's only a tight end architect. Like, that's not the way I look at it. I think Petzing's a good option. At least if it doesn't work out, they'll get rid of him. They'll move on quickly, but I think it's good.
I don't like these picks. I'll gamble that AJ Brown gets traded.
Let's see here. So, after I took McBride, it went Genty, Jefferson, Bowers, Nico, Hampton, Barkley. I don't know why Barkley's been in the top of round 2. The only reason he fell this late is because of us. We're not like super high on him, so everyone kept putting off drafting him. But the ADP rank is suggesting him at the 2-3 turn or the 1-2 turn. Henry, Love, Travis went Love, AJ Brown, and Chase. I don't mind that. Josh Allen at the 23 pick. Olave. You're not going to have to see that very often. That's because you're drafting in our community very high on Josh Allen. Olave, Rice, Pickens, Brown, Chase Brown, T. Higgins, Bucky. You took Bucky pretty high, I think. Miles. Oh, God, Miles. Miles is going to reach on all of yeah, this is kind of rough. Like, Kyron's here. Jameson Williams. Wow, Jameson's ranked high. ETN, Breece Hall. I think I'm going to go... I'll go Breece Hall here. He's the 3rd ranked guy, so it's not really a reach of any kind. The 3rd ranked guy, and I think he's going to be in an amazing situation. KC, New Orleans, something like that. So I'm really excited about Breece Hall this year at the 3-4 turn. Holston Loveland, expect to see that a lot. In fact, I'm surprised it took this long for him to get drafted. I could go Travis. He's not going to make it to you anyway. I want to go Drake May here. He was the 3rd guy.
That's going to lose a Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah. Yep, the guy, he's going to tank after he loses the Super Bowl and resort to hanging out with Rashee Rice on the weekends. It's going to go downhill from here. Just kidding. Drake May, Hall, McBride, Achane. No wide receivers yet. This team's gonna be trash. I don't like these receivers, man. I couldn't take JMO here. I couldn't take Lad McConkey here, even though I love Lad McConkey. Let's just see what's gonna happen. Definitely not gonna be one of my favorite teams. I can already tell you that. But I love my core. But we'll just see what I can do. The one thing I'll tell you is I've run a few scenarios, and I want to test it out where I'm doing this, and I haven't actually drafted them, but I wanted to try it. So I've run a few scenarios, like this, and I've liked what I've seen.
I didn't mean to do that.
Got it, boo.
Yep, didn't mean to. I didn't realize I was up. I was looking at the screen instead of my screen.
Mm-hmm.
And the
sure.
Stream's on delay.
Look, Scottaboo's fantastic. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's gonna go that high. Probably 5th round is where I'd want him though. Jordan Tyson going in the 4th round is crazy. That's insane, man. But that's where they're going. That isn't really a reach. That's where the ADP's like putting them.
Yeah.
But I love Jordan Tyson. I love him. I'm just saying I thought I'd get him at a discount. Hendy, 5th round. It's unfortunate. Maybe fortunate. It's unfortunate, maybe fortunate. I mean, you can't complain about Hendy in the 5th round, though. That's he's probably going to for sure earn that next year. Tyler Warren, I like that. It's crafty. Carnell Tate, I like Carnell Tate a lot. Zay Flowers. A lot of the quarterbacks might start potentially flying off the board now. Or soon. In our group, anyway. Running backs stood out. The running backs are pretty Miles, you're the biggest reacher in the history of fantasy football, bro. Like Ibuka is so far down the ADP. You're grabbing Buka, Bucky, you're grabbing nothing near ADP. I don't think his ADP is near there. I don't think it is. I think you're at least like, you got to be at least 10, 12 picks early. All right, here's where I think I'm going to be okay. I think DK is going to have a good year.
Yeah, that could be good.
I think they're going to get, I think that under this new system, they have a top, look, McCarthy has a top 5 to 6, top 7 offense pretty much every year. I'm not saying that always is something you can replicate, just because he's going to a new team, he's just going to absolutely turn into a top 5. But even if it's like top 10, there's a lot of upside in McCarthy. And so I feel pretty good about that pick, to be honest. Like, given where I decided to begin my wide receiver drafting, and this next selection could be a wasted pick, but it also could be a league winner. Well, hold on. You know what? I guess I think Michael Wilson there.
Yeah, I would have taken him if you didn't.
Do I love my wide receivers? Not really. But do I think I should have worse wide receivers than when I waited that long? I think so. So it's kind of a matter of do my other players like smash? I mean, if DK's a top 10, top 12 wide receiver, even if he's within 10 points of that, let's say he's 15, but he's like really 10 points away. I don't know. And Michael Wilson, man, I really like Michael Wilson. I think with Brissett, most likely the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. I think it's going to look pretty good. Travis goes with Dart. I don't mind that. Dart's kind of a nice year. Aaron, thanks for the super chat. Are the injuries from this year going to change the draft next year? Are people going to take more QBs? Also makes me want to take RB QB. Well, I tried that here, as you can see, where I didn't go wide receiver just to test it out. It's always important to kind of try it. And I do a lot of this stuff for you guys so that we can see if it works. You know, if it doesn't work, then at least we have a lesson to learn. But I do think injuries are going to change some mindsets. I think people are going to double up on quarterbacks a little bit more quickly than they used to. I don't know about on a grand scale on underdog. I think that wide receiver is still going to be pretty aggressive on underdog. You might see it shift by like one player. You know, we might, instead of having, let's call it 8 wide receivers in round 1 or 9, you'll have 7 or 8. You'll just have like one different. I think it will fluctuate a little bit. I think you're going to have, kind of hard to tell with our group, but you're going to have people like this doubling up on quarterbacks a little bit more. Just because when you lose that quarterback and you had a really good team, it's brutal. Like I had Burrow and Mahomes went down. If I didn't have Burrow, I wouldn't have made it into that semifinals with that team.
How many rounds are these?
These are, I believe, 20.
Okay.
20 rounds, yeah. I went BTJ, which honestly, I mean, it doesn't have the allure it had last year. You can get last year's BTJ in August or pre-August at 83. You'd be having a field day. But DK Wilson and BTJ ain't that bad. It's a pretty good trio.
Yeah, I took MHJ last round. I was going to go double quarterback, but they got ripped off the board. So
that's a solid combo. I'm about to time out, and I'm just going to take the person in my queue so I don't time out. Aaron will like this. Wandell. So Wandell's my 4th.
Oh, nice.
Let me get DJ on here. Hold on. DJ, wait 1 second. Let me merge you and just mute real quick. I'll be right with you. But yes, Aaron, I do think we'll see a significant shift in thinking, more so in non-best ball, where you're going to have people like make drastic changes. Best ball is hard to change people's minds too much, but a lot of people are data driven and they go a certain way, and they get, sometimes I would say, brainwashed into thinking with the masses of the data people. Like the data people are like, based on last year, like last year is relevant, but it shouldn't drive everything you do like it sometimes does. It's wild. It's wild how many people draft based on last year. There's certain takeaways, you know, like, hey, you got screwed out of a QB. You learned that lesson, bring it into this year. But the team that won Best Ball Mania the year prior to the one you're playing, you can't just translate what they did on over because it can be completely different. Stafford to steal? Could be. I mean, has there been anything since I've been live? Because I went live immediately after the game. Travis, is there anything on X after you make the pick? Maybe you can look on Stafford again?
No.
Like,
McVay was asked about it, and it said he seemed a little annoyed and said, I'm not ready to talk about that yet.
Okay. Because it's still a question.
I think mostly like it's, too soon, whatever.
Yeah. If anybody thinks that Stafford is a lock to play next year, like an absolute lock, you're not. It's not the case. So your team, Travis, is Chase, Love, AJ Brown, Scatterboo, Warren, Dart, Harrison, Mahomes, Coleman. Doesn't it feel thin in like the 5th and 6th and 7th rounds? Doesn't it feel like unsure?
Yeah, it does. And RBs went quicker than I thought they would.
Yeah, they're deep, but they dry up quick. And then the wide receivers like Adams and Garrett Wilson and J-Mo and DK and Mike Evans and Flowers and those guys kind of Michael Wilson, those guys kind of linger. BTJ. It makes it intriguing to say, well, hey, elite wide receivers drop off like that, whereas elite running backs last long, but then the running backs dry up completely, and then the mid-range wide receivers are kind of hanging around.
Well, and it's this group is definitely drafting more running backs than last year. Last year they were drafting. Our group drafted tons of wide receivers.
I'm not trying to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight wide receivers, but it just happens to be the best player there. And I might even go wide receiver again, damn it. But I got a late start at wide receiver, so it's not a bad strategy. I like Coker, too. Coker's a really good pick.
Yeah, I like them.
I mean, we were pretty high on Coker in best ball in the early offseason. And then when he kind of, I forget when he got injured, but it kind of wiped him out off the map for a lot of people. Oh, I'm on the clock. Well, good thing I had a player queued. So my wide receivers aren't that bad, man. From going with let me go back to the top. I went 0 wide receiver, which is, you know, a no in the best ball industry according to everyone. Achane, McBride, Hall, Drake May, DK, Michael Wilson, BTJ, Wandell Robinson, Coker, and Worthy. I don't know, not that bad. Kind of like it. Not my favorite team, but I like it. Long show tonight. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do another draft because these take forever. But we'll definitely be doing them all week. I didn't think we'd be able to do them until after the NFL Super Bowl. But I forgot that's when Best Ball Mania drops the big board.
Oh, yeah.
But the big board and little board, I didn't remember them dropping this early, actually. I don't know. I don't remember. I feel like the big board dropped on the day after the Super Bowl. I was so pumped when I saw this, though. What is the biggest steal and biggest bust of the draft so far once you pick? And Chad, if you want to drop your favorite pick in this entire draft and the worst pick in the entire draft.
Look.
What's up, Aldi? What's up, 973s? Appreciate you guys in the Rumble stream. Let's see here. Let me scroll back up so you guys can see it from the top. So tell me your favorite pick. I'll move over from the left. If I had to go ahead.
Right now, Kenneth Walker in the third is looking pretty good.
No Ayuk. Yeah, that's right, Matt. Why would anybody draft Ayuk?
I don't know how I feel about Tyson and Lemon in the 4 and 5. Or Rice in the third. No offense to whoever has the first pick.
Hurts at 70. Hurts said in the 7th round's weird.
Yeah, I was going to take him to linger.
I feel like that's really
take him like 85. Yeah. They grabbed Mahomes in the 8th. After that,
I took Monty. What are the odds he gets traded?
I know. I was thinking that before I made my last pick. I think there's a decent chance.
Be intriguing. On the clock. Gonna time out. Dang it. No. I don't hate it. I don't hate the pick because he gets usage. I timed out on Algier. This is also a player that that can just get you points, you know. And if there's one lesson to take away from 2025, even though honestly I don't think things could have been better for me if I just scored 2.5 more points out of how much was it? It was 100K. If I just scored 2.5 more points out of $100,000 and 11th place in the Best Ball Mania. So I had a good year. There's nothing that I feel like I did wrong, actually. But the one thing I think I could take into 2026 to give me a better shot at having more opportunities to get that, maybe I would have had a team that slipped in that won or did advance further, would be getting players, not trying so hard to get the Ray Davises as much as the Tyler Algiers. And I know that it's natural for us to be like, if we get the home run, we win, the thing. But Algier would have served you well for like 6-7 games probably, where he starts as your flex play and it gets you 10, 11, 12 points, and it's the difference maker to getting you through to the finals. Because honestly, the team that won the finals was not a better team than mine. My team was in my opinion way better, but you just need to get into the first round of the playoffs, and then you're essentially just trying to beat out the 16 people the 15 other people in your group. That's all. Like once or I think it's 12. Is it 12? I think the first round is 12. So you make it to the playoffs. I think you're paired against 12 others. So you're just trying to get top 2. And the top 2 people advance. You're not competing against the hundreds and thousands of people. There's about 700,000 people that enter Best Ball Mania. You're not even competing with 700,000. You're initially competing with your grouping of 12. Then you're competing with an additional grouping. I think it's 12 or 16. And then you go into the semifinals where you're competing with a group of 16. So to get into the final group of like 300 to 500 people, I think it's 500 people. The group of 500 people, to get into that finals, you just have to be the number one person out of 16. And sometimes Algier getting those points might help you. Now, where will he be? I don't know. But wherever he goes, he's probably going to get work consistently, even if it's not starter work. But he might get starter work. All right, so my running back stable is Achane, Breece Hall, Monty, and Algier. I got Drake May. I got DK, Michael Wilson, BTJ, Wan'Dale Robinson, Coker, Worthy, McBride. Jeez, man. I don't like this pick at all, but he's the top quarterback option, and I don't want to miss out on having a competent backup situation at all, and I do think he'll be starting somewhere. Don't know that I love this. It's so thin, man. We're in the 13th round, and there's nothing left. What are your thoughts on? Let me wait till he makes his pick. What are your thoughts on TikTok? At this stage, like, what do you think about Tank Dell? There's a lot of talk about him being ready.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, this early, like, take a flyer.
We're talking about Calvin Ridley, Troy Franklin, right. Kyle Williams. I like Kyle Williams, but I don't know that he's Vele. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like it's worth a gamble here. Luka value up or down, and Mike Evans stays or leaves. It goes up if he leaves, I think. And even if he stays, I don't know. I still like him a lot. I just don't know. I think his cost of entry goes down, so he's still worth it. You know, John, you're always a negative Noah in here. Let's just look at John's last couple posts. Let's see if John's positive about anything. John, let's see if you should stay. This is constant with John.
And that's not even purple John either.
No, but this John's always saying something.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to watch you, John. I got my eye on you. Got my eye on you. Tread lightly. Constant negativity, you get you booted real quickly. I'd say the steal of the lower part of this draft. Kamara's interesting in the 13th round, but he could be an absolute zero. But it's like an interesting ADP. I kind of like my Monty pick in the double-digit rounds here. I like Shuck. Shuck might be my favorite double-digit round pick, I think.
Oh, yeah. That's a good pick.
I'm going to go Malik Willis here. So now I got my quarterback stable on lock. I got Drake May, Kyler, and Malik. Wide receivers, I'm pretty solid at wide receiver. What do you think about Trey Benson?
He's in my queue.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm picking him here. But what do you think he's? I mean, we're all writing him off, but he hasn't really been, written off by the team.
Unless they, the way he could be in trouble is, well, if Connor comes back, because they always seem to like Connor. I wonder if Connor's finally washed up or not. But couldn't they? What if they took like an Emmett Johnson or something, or one of these guys, Jonah Coleman, or
yeah.
Then maybe he could. I think that's really what depends. Is like, did they take one of these guys who could bump him from that? But I mean, he should be healthy, good to go, right?
I mean, we haven't heard anything. He had a setback, and so we're not sure. You think a draft where a guy drafts 3 running backs total gets thrown out? No, why would it? It's a strategy. Nope. There's people that have taken 4 or 5 straight quarterbacks, bro. It's their strategy. Now, do I think it could get thrown out? Maybe, but 3 running backs? Absolutely not. Is it likely to win? Probably not, but if the running back stayed healthy. Yeah, man, this is wild. This draft it's so crazy.
Fred Brissett that was there. I mean, I know he's not amazing, but
honestly, if I remembered he was there, I would have taken him. I didn't realize how lowly ranked he was.
Take him over Ward, Darnold, Young.
Why didn't I see him? Wonder why I didn't see him.
I've been sitting on him for a couple rounds, actually.
Where did
Oh, I'm sorry, DJ.
Vrabel? Yeah, no worries. Wait, what's up with that? Where did Vrabel can't quit Stevenson go? And
it'll be fun next year.
In this draft.
I don't know. I don't even know how to answer the question anymore. I just don't know. Simi Valley, thank you for the super chat, bro. $2 holler to the moon, pal. I don't know. Travis seems to think he'll get used a lot more next in the Super Bowl next game. We'll see if that happens. That'll be a nice thing to see. I don't think it's impossible, but I'm certainly not counting on it.
Well, that's on the planet, Smitty. I wanted to jump in real quick on the, just on today's games. Great games. And this seems kind of familiar, I tend to think history has a way of repeating itself. So you have the Pats team, who I'd imagine is an underdog, very similar to Brady's first Super Bowl coming in against the Rams. So, the crazy thing is with the culture, the structure, i.e. Vrabel, seems kind of very familiar. So maybe the winning odds just on the football gods and fantasy gods might be closer to maybe 40%, towards that end. Because it just, that there's a blueprint, the defense, the names.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're trying to say here. What are you trying to say?
Well, my point in saying this is just that we were talking earlier about the odds of Seattle winning and the Pats winning, being about 10%, 20%, whatever the case may be, right? My point was saying that this seems pretty familiar to Tom Brady's first Super Bowl in terms of the odds.
Oh, okay.
That may very well could, in the Pats, do that, because history tends to have a way of repeating itself, and they have that blueprint.
Well, I mean, you could dig into history and say this is Trent Dilfer's year. I mean, Sam Darnold's year. Darnold looks like Trent Dilfer on steroids, and this defense is one of the best defenses we've seen. So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna be it definitely is gonna be a close game for sure, but because I think the Patriots defense is good enough to keep Seattle down a little bit. But I don't know, the Rams defense, they're leaky right now though, but they have some potential. And, they definitely could create turnovers, and they didn't. Seattle was on their game. I think the key to it you want to know the honest truth? I think and I hate to say this, but Charbonnet getting hurt was the best thing that could have ever happened to the Seattle Seahawks, man. Because I feel like the way they're running the ball, even though Charbonnet had big games, and I didn't wish injury upon him, and I like Charbonnet so much. I wanted him to have I wanted both of them to go start. Charbonnet to stay and start, and Walker to find a new home and start. But I took Tunges here. This isn't bad. I like Tunges here. I mean,
yeah, I was looking at him. Yeah.
He could be pretty solid right there. But I just feel like now they have an identity at running back. I don't know. I know Sharps did really well at the end there, but throughout the year it was kind of like hit and miss with what they were doing there. I feel like there's clarity. The clarity has led to this team, I feel like, having a strong foundation on offense. And I don't know. I feel like there's something special right now going on with this offense that wasn't necessarily fully locked in and consistent. Let me see if there's got to be a receiver here somewhere. Jeez, bro. I don't know. I timed out on who did I get? Pacheco. I might never know. Never know. I don't know. I just think that the Seattle Seahawks are in a groove right now. They look super good on offense, and their defense is all, it's always going to be amazing, but it's all flowing, man. Walker's always been a better between the tackle, or a better between the 20s guy than Charbonnet. But Charbonnet has just been on fire lately. But I think if you look back throughout the year, though, when they were struggling to find their identity at running back, I don't think we just look at Sharps recently having success and say, oh, it's because they kind of committed to Sharps. And that was establishing that identity that could have just as easily been Charbonnet. Like if Walker got hurt, I think it would have been a blessing, and this guy's the same way. Like you would see Charbonnet doing what he was doing, down on the stretch of the year. He's just locked in. 100 yards and a touch. He was massively productive. So I think just getting one running back in there has been the key. They've had some huge success. But anyway, I hear what you're saying. I mean, either team can win. It's not like one's favored by a heavy margin. I wonder what the line's even going to be.
Well, I think
right now it's 5. Seahawks by 5. It opens up.
I did. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks will win. I just think that just with history and the Pats being who they are, it could be, and I hope so. And with Walker, I think with the one running back, it speaks to what you're talking about earlier. He's getting in a flow, and I think where Charbonnet is better is in between the tackles, because Walker is explosive, but he tends to want to make the big play all the time, right? But he's gotten in the flow, and he's appears to me able to pick up those yards in between the tackles, and that has helped and opened up, I think, the offense, to your point, tremendously. But it also again speaks to the Hindi situation. Can we get these guys in the flow, and how we're using them? And where did Walker go in this draft? What round?
Third round, which Travis said was a steal. I don't want to say it's bad. Like I don't like massively disagree with Travis. I don't know that I identify it as one of the bigger steals of the draft, but because I think it's higher than I expected is probably why I feel that way. But I still think it's he certainly could earn that. And I love Walker, man. I've always loved Walker. But yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. Like if you look at the other picks, like so Bucky, Walker. Let me see who I liked before that. I mean, I'd have been happy to get him at the turn. So I'm not suggesting I don't like the value. I just don't know if it's the steal of the early rounds, but it certainly could be. This guy was the nose for the end zone running back of the future on this channel. He was the very first Moon Man. The reason we created the Moon Man list was because of Kenneth Walker. That's why we started the actual list. I mean, we'd say to the moon a lot and everything, but the reason we connected it is one day we'd say to the moon, to Saturn. Everybody copies us. Everybody says to the moon now in fantasy, and they stole it from us. But the reason we created the list was one day while we're already on that space mission, content wise on the channel. One day I was speaking about Walker, and I think I was standing up. Let me put Walker on screen while we talk about him, give him the respect he deserves. I was standing up and I was explaining how he navigates space. And I was saying that when Walker's out there, he's literally finding pockets to run in that are empty, and he gravitates toward like a magnet toward the empty space on the field. And that when you watch him, he's running left to right, not just north to south. So he's going west and east, and he's finding these pockets of space. And I said he's a space monster. And I go, he's going to the moon. And we're like, he's going to the moon. He's going to outer space. And so we created the Moon Man list. And that's where it all came from. Exactly. And he was the first Moon Man to crack it. And what do you guys remember what the biggest talking point about him as a prospect coming into the NFL was? He was one of the better pass catchers in my mind, despite not having the track record. And everyone said, oh, Walker didn't catch footballs in college. And I said, either did Zeke Elliott. And Zeke Elliott became one of the best pass catching running backs in the history of the fantasy football sport we play. And just because someone wasn't utilized properly doesn't mean they don't have the ability to catch. And what I said was about him, that this guy he has all the components to be one of the top 5 receiving backs in the league, because he's amazing in open space. He has ability to turn something upfield, and he's a playmaker with a nose for the end zone. You get this man the football, and he has good hands. You get this man in the football in open space, it's like a kickoff return to him. He's just kind of bouncing left and right. It's like a little bit like Lev Bell in a way. He's left to right, constantly navigating sharp cuts, decisive moves. One cut, boom, go, stop. Another cut, boom, go, stop. This is the ideal candidate to be a good receiver at the National Football League level. And so we love Walker. So if Walker was to go to another team, he's a free agent, he'll go to start or he's returning. With Charbonnet's injury not being ready for week 1, devastating, catastrophic injury to Zach Charbonnet with his knee. He's out week 1. He's either starting week 1 and continuing what he's doing here into 2026 and is a great player, great, maybe low-end running back 1, high-end running back 2, bare minimum. Or he's got so much money and a good offer, he's starting for another team in New Orleans or Washington or KC. So
that's why I thought it could be a steal. Only because I think if he finishes with a huge Super Bowl and then either gets a huge bag in Seattle or goes somewhere where he's the guy, I think he's going to be going in the early second. I think people will reach on him again, but maybe not.
I don't think that he can really miss unless he gets hurt, because he's either staying in a great situation or he's getting pulled into an even maybe better one. There's a highly unlikely chance that he gets raptured from the Seattle Seahawks via free agency, lured in by money, and he goes to some crappy situation. It could happen.
Afford to lose him, really.
They can't now. I mean, he was probably as good as gone if this thing finished in a rotation. Then they're like, look, we like you, but Sharps is killing it. And that's why Sharps is doing good. They're really kind of shifting toward, like, hey, we're going to lean on the guy that's here. And it was working. Charbonnet exploded in the semifinals of fantasy at 2 touchdowns or 120 and a touch? I forget what it was. It was unbelievable, man. He exploded. And it was a big reason on my final team that I had that advanced the furthest. Like, he was a big part of it, man. I'm bummed about Charbonnet getting injured, but what a potential stud he was going to be in Seattle. And I don't think we'd be talking. I think we'd be talking about Walker being a disappointment right now, had Sharps not come in.
110 and 2 touchdowns, and then week 18 he had 74 with a touch.
Yeah, we'd be talking about Walker being underwhelming right now. Oh, he's definitely going to let him go. They're not using him. But now that it's really the system, and both running backs are capable of being elite in the system. That's what it is. Whoever it is going to be a 100-yard and a touchdown capable running back. So I don't disagree with you. I think, I don't want to say that I don't like the 3rd-round pick. I was kind of hopeful he was going to last. Flea Nice with a $20 hauler. Flea Nice, you still there?
Alert.
I pulled it up.
Super chat alert.
I pulled it up and then I didn't read it because I think DJ or Travis was talking about something. I didn't want to interrupt him, but Flea Nice advanced to our super playoff tournament. Whatever, Darnold, I know the real you. What's he saying? Is he saying that because he's saying he'll fold, like turn into a paper tiger? I think that's what he's saying. Thank you, Flea Nice. Thank you for the $20 hauler. Congrats, my boy, on advancing.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
That's my boy right there, Flea Nice. Flea Nice, thank you. Are you still here, pal? Tell me you're still here. You're still here. I'm giving you a standing ovation. I want to make sure you're still there. All right, DJ, any final thoughts? I'm probably going to call it about 2-hour show already, so I got to go work out.
No, in terms of just Stevenson, not too much, just Stevenson. What did he finish, like 25? So, he's there. He's
there.
A thorn in the side. Yeah, he's just a thorn,
there.
Thorn in the side.
He's there, all right.
And yeah. And I'll just leave it with congrats to the pass, man. Good stuff. It should be a good one. Good stuff, man. Best show on the planet.
All right, later. Appreciate you. Travis, final thoughts.
I don't think I have any. Good show. Be late tomorrow night, just graveyard, unless there's any breaking news. Monday.
Yeah, tomorrow 8 p.m. Tomorrow 8 p.m. show, but we'll be live. I'll probably have a Dynasty show and I'm gonna have a Dynasty show and a regular on this main channel show, hopefully uploaded tomorrow. Because tomorrow is like it's a big day where Underdog's available. I might critique some ADP. I don't think we'll do a Dynasty tonight, but we'll definitely have a Dynasty upload tomorrow. All right. Oh wait, it's only 9:41.
Yeah, 11:41. I was going to ask you quick what's Puka's contract? What did they give him a contract yet, or are they going to have to sign him like soon?
Puka Nacua, let me find it. It's only 9:40. Maybe we do need to do a Dynasty show. What is the topic? Someone said Dynasty show on the Rams.
Oh, we have been doing like the losing teams, but
yeah, you're right.
We could run it Rams and Broncos, I guess. I mean, there's not quite as much content as other weeks. But...
I mean, we could do all 4 teams that were involved, I guess, but then we wouldn't. Yeah, let's do that. That way we won't need to do one final one, and then we'll just get on to 2026. Okay, Puka Nacua contract. I mean, regardless of whether he's got a year left, because he's unrestricted free agent in 2027. Okay.
Yeah, I thought so, because he doesn't have a 5th-year option because he was a
Right.
in the first round.
Why didn't they extend him? Why didn't we hear him complain about being extended? Man just kept his
off season.
But he just kept his mouth shut. He didn't like pull a whole. Yeah. Why? Wait, why? That doesn't make any sense, man. All these players are pulling that card 2 years prior.
Maybe that's why we see him starting to
contract,
get a little more active and stuff.
Is his rookie contract? That's why. Okay. My fault. Yeah,
they can't. But
it makes sense. I don't know what.
You wonder if that's why he's starting to get a little more active. And pocket a little more.
Yeah.
He knows payday's coming up. Time to negotiate.
Yeah, rookie. Yeah, rookie deal different. Okay, so Puka Nacua probably gets. Jeez, man.
Well, that was my thought. He can ask for the world.
Yeah, let's. There's Flea Nice. Flea Nice is here. Standing ovation.
Let him cook.
Flea Nice, appreciate you. What's this new super chat? $10 holler. You missed my first comment. Crushed you in beer bong Darnold. Crushed you in beer bong Darnold, and you cried. As he's saying, Flea Nice, I don't know if you're in celebration mode. I'm trying to put together your super chats. You saying you played him in beer pong? Didn't he tell that story one time? And he made Darnold. I think I remember the story. I think he played him in beer pong. He beat Darnold in college or something. He's saying, and he made him cry. You will cry again. Let's go, Hendy. Smitty, #1 fantasy legend. I think I remember that story.
Yeah, I remember something about that.
Yeah. Yeah, Puka, if I had to say, Puka probably... what's the #1 paid wide receiver right now is JJ, right? #1. Or Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, I'm sorry. Jamar Chase, he's getting paid. Let's pull up his deal. $40 million.
Yep.
Highest paid wide receivers. Garrett Wilson's up there. That's crazy. DK Metcalf. That's insane. Who's DK Metcalf again? Oh, he's the guy just drafted. Okay. I think McCarthy's going to help make him a little more relevant, but
DK's is a funny one though, because there was a little less guaranteed, and they can get out of it after next year.
So if someone's,
Puka's got to ask for what, $40 million?
Oh yeah, Puka's getting. There's no way Puka's not getting the highest number.
Right.
So, coming off his rookie contract, this is the time. You can't do it earlier. When we were thinking about why Puka hasn't made a stink, it's because he's a rookie contract. Jamar Chase, $40 million a year. JJ, 35. CD Lamb, 34. DK Metcalf, 33. Garrett Wilson, 32. He's not going to be near 35. If he got like 37 or 38, it wouldn't like surprise me, but it also wouldn't surprise me if he got 45. I would say 40 mil a year, 41 or 42 million a year to exceed Jamar Chase. And I don't know what it'll look like from a structure wise. Let's say 4-year deal for Jamar Chase. These wide receivers tend to sign a 4-year deal because that means they can get paid in 3. So you get paid again, reset your mark. You don't want to go longer. You don't really want to go shorter either. It's a good spot. So
how does that line up? How old is he right now? How does it line up with his retire by 30 idea?
He's still 20. Ziggy, how old is Puka Nacua and when is his birthday?
Nacua is 24 years old.
Ziggy, when's his birthday?
Puka Nacua's birthday is May 29th.
Okay. Turns 25. So 26, 27, 28, 29. Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, this could be his last contract. Now, he could change his mind. Players say they're going to retire at 30 all the time. Tyreek Hill said he was going to retire, and look, he's not only gone past that year he said he was going to retire at, but now he's trying to come back from his injury. And yes, Smitty played him and Fitzy and Josh Allen. Darnold quit and cried. Also, Sean Payton is a fool for not kicking a field goal. Going to send this business opportunity that I think you will crush. Met a dude in Vegas. We chatted about you. Okay.
That's all over the place.
Thanks, Felina. Yeah. Getting on a plane. Pardon me. At graduation. Like he's got all. You're going a million miles in a million different directions, Flea Nice. And that's what I like about you, pal. Flea Nice.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Thank you, Flea Nice. Appreciate you. This man is the man. Flea Nice, thank you, my boy. Let's give him a standing ovation.
Let him cook.
Where's Denny? I don't know where Denny is. So Puka Nacua, $40 million a year, maybe 42. I think he beats Jamar Chase. Maybe he doesn't have to go exceed him, but I think he will. Crazy, man. $40 million a year. So he's looking at $40 million a year. Let's call it $41 million per year times 4 will be 164 instead of 161. And then the total guaranteed. What was his guaranteed money? Jamar Chase.
Basically 110 for Jamar. 109.
112. Well, my number might be wrong. Your number might be wrong. I don't know. Who knows? But around 110 to 112. So Nacua, I'd probably say 120, 115, 120 guaranteed. 164, $41 million per year. And that's going to put a wrinkle in Stafford's negotiation because they got to pay Stafford. But they could restructure Puka's to like pay him a little bit later. Kicks him down the road, I suppose. Thank you, DJ. Appreciate you. All right, Travis, anything else? We're gonna go back on Dynasty. We'll talk the Rams. We'll talk all the players that played today. We'll talk about them in Dynasty. So come back on the Dynasty channel. The link is in the description of the video. All right, see you in a few minutes.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Guys, thank you for being here. We're gonna be on the Dynasty channel in T-minus 5 to 7 minutes. So link in description. Make sure you're subscribed to the Dynasty channel. We're gonna talk all of the players Dynasty wise. So May, Hendy, JSN, Puka Nacua, all those guys in Dynasty. See you over, or I might even limit it to. Yeah, you know what? I might limit it to the 2 losing teams. I know I said I wasn't going to do that, and then we'll save maybe for tomorrow's show the 2 advancing teams. I think is what we'll do. All right, see you on the Dynasty channel in T-minus 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you guys, appreciate you. Thank you to Rumble, my Rumblers over there. I got Hag over there on Rumble. Hag says, I think Smitty has Seattle. I do. Vikes fan happy for Darnold. Yeah. I bet the Vikings feel stupid. Yeah, Dynasty channel, link in description of the video, boys. Even on Rumble, go to the description of the video on Rumble. Actually, I can copy it. Oh, I can copy it right here. Hold on. Dynasty channel. Here it is. I'm going to drop that in Rumble. There you go. I'm going to drop it in the main channel. YouTube Dynasty. Boom. There it is. And no, I didn't go turncoat on the Patriots. I'm just giving my honest. I know you're joking, but I'm just giving my honest opinion. It's like the defense mixed with how good the offense is. It's like I don't know how anybody could win any given game. You know. All right. See you all in a little bit. Appreciate you.